Well, joining me tonight for Talking Pints, well, I did say to you it was the longest-serving party political leader in the United Kingdom. What I didn't tell you was that it is Alan Howling Lord Hope of the official Monster Raving Loony Party. Alan, welcome to Talking Pints.
Yeah. We've known each other for a long, long time, Nigel. A long time.
We have, absolutely. And so I first came across your party. And I'm going way back, nearly 30 years. The Eastleigh by-election.
Yes.
And I had put my name forward for UKIP, this brand new party.
Yes.
And I was clearly challenging your space.
Of course you were.
I mean, I was challenging, but Such was standing.
Screaming Lord Such was there. Yes, he was the candidate at the time, yes.
He was the first leader, and I was the UKIP candidate. And when the results came, I managed to beat the official Monster Raving Loony Party.
Can I tell you by how many?
166
166 votes.
I was 166 ahead of the Loony.
Yes.
But I met Such and I liked him. And of course, you know, he died far too early. You'd been the deputy since the formation of the party in 82. Yes. You then became the leader in 99.
99, yes.
And you've been the leader ever since.
22 years.
Now, I did speak to one or two people ahead of this interview who do say, Alan, that you are an autocrat.
Yes.
That
what does that mean?
there is no internal democracy within the Loonies, that you are a complete dictator.
Oh.
Do you think that's true?
Yes. I love taters.
But you're leader for life.
Yes.
You're there forever.
I'm not there. I'm there until I decide I don't want to be, and somebody else can take over, yes.
But
that's written in our Constitution, yes.
You've got it in the Constitution?
Yes.
Right, so you can't be challenged, which is good. So you are still fighting. I mean, we first met on the by-election show, didn't we? And we've had a lot of laughs.
Of course we have.
And a lot of fun.
And a few beers.
We have had a couple of drinks, it's true. I mean, look, however serious politics is, we've got to have a bit of fun doing it. And I think the Loonies do bring a lot of fun to it. How many by-elections have you stood in now? 19
by-elections. And I've also hold the record for general elections. I've actually stood in 9 general elections, more than anybody else in Great Britain. 9 general elections.
But it is, of course, a rule of the party that anybody that ever gets elected would have to be expelled.
Well, yes, that is a rule. But I was elected when I was down in Ashburton in Devon as a town councillor. And I consequently became the town mayor, chairman of the council and lord of the borough. But I didn't get any votes. I was returned unopposed.
Right. So that meant you could stay in the party. So you've been a publican. You've been a hotelier.
Yes.
You know, down on the edge of Dartmoor there for many, many years. What people don't know about you, don't know about Screaming Lord Such perhaps so much either, is that you were a rock and roller.
It is all in my book.
Yes.
There it is there. Look.
Yes.
A Great White Hope.
Yes. And you were a rock and roller, a folk singer, but
no, not a folk singer.
Not a folk singer.
No, a country music singer.
Sorry, I apologise.
Yes. Country music, yes.
I apologise. But tell us this story about you and the Beatles.
Well, there's 27 pages in this book about me and the Beatles in Aldershot. They were booked to play at the Palais Ballroom in Aldershot, the Palais de Dance, which I played at every weekend. And I was told by the man who owned it at the time, have that weekend off, so-and-so, so-and-so, because I've hired the ballroom out to somebody else who's going to put on a rock and roll show of rock and roll bands from north and south.
Yep.
So we didn't know who was going to be on. So the man down the Central Ballroom, down the road in Aldershot, Mike Burton, he had a cancellation on this particular night. So we went and played for him. And of course, all the people at the Aldershot Palais come down to watch me. I was the local hero, if you like, in Aldershot. Nobody ever heard of the Beatles. What a silly name for a group in those days. and of course, they say 18 that turned up to watch the Beatles. It wasn't 18 at all. It was only 11. The 18 were made up of the 4 Beatles, Sam Leach, the manager, Dick Matthews, the photographer, and the road manager. And that made the 18.
So you upstaged them. them a long time back.
Yes, but at my gig down the road in the Central Ballroom, I had 300 people.
Oh, there you go. There you go. A loss.
As I say, there's 27 pages in this book about it. The Great White Hope.
And politics, Alan. I mean, there's quite a lot of you in the Raving Loony Party, aren't there?
Yes.
It's not just you and a.
No, all over the world. We've got 336,000 members, or mostly expats. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and even in Patagonia.
Well, I believe you.
That's where the Welsh settled. But it's a little bit of old Britain.
Some of your policies, some of the policies that Such campaigned for and you've campaigned for, have actually come true.
Yes.
I think one of the first ones was all-day pub opening.
Yes.
Was an official loony policy.
Yes. Don't be just saying that's loony.
And it's actually happened. Is there anything else that you've wanted to happen?
Well, yes, we passports for pets for another one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what we were saying was, why can't you have your dog or your cat inoculated to go abroad and come back after 2 weeks without going through 6 months quarantine? Don't be so stupid. That's loony. Now they're doing it. Right. But that slightly backfired on us. I'll tell you for why. Because it worked the other way as well. The European dogs and animals can now come to Europe, from Europe to England, without being inoculated. So British dogs aren't winning Crufts anymore.
You've got European dogs winning Crufts.
Yes.
There we are. The Loony Party ruined Crufts. Yes. But I say that because you're actually, what I've also noticed about all of your supporters, all the people I've met at the by-election counts and all the laughs and fun we've had, you're actually a very patriotic lot, aren't you?
Oh, yes. True British.
You know, you really believe in the country.
Yes.
And is that why you do this?
Yes.
Because it's the first past the post electoral system.
Yes.
It's completely impossible.
We are the official Monster Raven Loony Party. We are the party that's on everybody's side, no matter what political persuasion they may be.
But you have your own persuasions, Alan, and you were. I think I know. Maybe you won't answer this, but I think you were a Brexiteer, weren't you?
Yes, I was. Yes, I wanted to come out. Yes. I thank you for doing that.
Well, I helped kick the ball off. There's no doubt about that.
Yes.
So what happens now? And do you guys just go on fighting election after election? Does the Loony Party, when you retire, does the Loony Party go on, or was it just a creation of you and David Such 40 years
It will go on. As far as I'm concerned, it will go on, yes.
It will go on?
Yes. Let me just tell you, we're going back to what we spoke about in the first thing, the longest-serving party leader in Great Britain.
Yeah.
And I live in Fleet in Hampshire.
Yep.
But I am now been 22 years the party leader, and I've just overtaken Clement Attlee. Now, Clement Attlee also lived in Fleet.
Did he really?
Yes. And he played football for Fleet Town.
What?
Yeah, and
what Fleet's given to this country?
Yes, and I'll tell you something about Fleet now. You go through lots and lots of the newspaper polls. Fleet and the area it's in Hampshire, it's one of the nicest and safest parts in Great Britain to live.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Is that because you're there?
Yes.
Well, there we are.
I help it, I think.
That was obvious, wasn't it? That was obvious.
No, it's a wonderful place.
So 22 years as leader, you're going on, Loonyism is going on.
Yes.
And what's your manifesto going to be for the next election, do you think?
Oh, I can't tell you that because they'll all steal it.
Well, they might do after passports for pets and all-day pub opening.
And we also campaigned for recognition for the Beatles in the early days. Never ever expecting them to become sirs, but they did, didn't they?
They did. So recognition for the Beatles.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, I mean, I'm amazed. So much success, and yet everyone laughs at you.
No, they don't.
Don't they?
No. Well, but listen, one of my favourite memories of you, Nigel, is when we met in Bradford West.
Yep.
Do you remember when George Galloway won the seat?
I do.
Yes. And you came and you visited me in my party headquarters, the new Bird's Nest.
Yep.
My party headquarters.
Yep.
And I've got this for you, and I'm going to present this to you now. Take a look at this.
Make Bradford bonkers. Oh, that's fantastic.
This is Nigel Farage, folks. Being a loony. Look.
Well, I did. I have to say thank you for that. And I do also remember after the election, there we are. This was me nearly defecting to the Loony Party.
Nearly?
It was very close. It was nip and tuck.
Let me tell you something else now. Nigel, you've always said to me, if you weren't involved in Brexit and UKIP, whatever, if you weren't ever involved with them, the only party you ever joined would be the Loony Party.
Well, of course, there's no question about that. There's no question about that.
You've told me that many times.
Of course.
And you've told many other people too.
Of course. No, I'm not denying it for a moment, Alan. Of course I'm not. And I do remember a magnificent night in Rochester.
Yes.
When Mark Reckless had stood down as a Conservative MP, stood for UKIP in that by-election. Incredibly brave and principled and decent thing to do.
He was, yeah.
And we were holding a sort of, well, pretty uproarious party in a nightclub.
Weren't we?
In Rochester. And you came in and I asked you to speak. And you did say that UKIP was becoming so successful that you were thinking of defecting. And it brought the house
No,
down.
I didn't say defecting, Nigel. I said infecting. Infecting you with loonyism.
Right.
Infecting.
Well, we've had an awful lot of fun doing it, and I do hope the Looney Party carries on.
It will do.
Because I think it's harmless, I think it's fun, I think you're incredibly patriotic people that care about this country.
Yes.
A huge, huge amount.
Yes, we
Is there any equivalent of you anywhere else in the world?
Well, we do have the Munster Raven Looney Party in Germany.
The Munsters?
Munster? In Munster itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get a Munster Looney Party in Ireland too, but they won't have it.
Yeah, of course they could be, couldn't they?
Yes.
No, I think this is a uniquely British phenomenon, and I think you've added to the gaiety of life in this country in a wonderful way, and I hope you go on doing it, Alan, for a long, long time.
And thank you very much. And I hope you do as well, Nigel.
Oh, I'm done with the politics for now.
Let me just finish. Let me just finish one thing.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, and many other people are concerned, you're probably the best Prime Minister we never had.
Well, that is incredibly sweet of you. I'll drink to that. Thank you very much indeed. That was Alan Hope.